results. They use the latest technology in computerized color matching and specialize in frame repairs. With their modern laser measuring systems, they're OEM certified, and they have 4 locations to serve you. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers offer rental car assistance with free drop-off and pickup services too, and their work has a lifetime guarantee. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers are in Norco, Eastvale, Moreno Valley, and in Fontana. Call them at 1-800-61-MAGIC. That's 1-800-61-MAGIC. All Magic Paint and Body Collision Centers. 1-800-61-MAGIC. All Magic Paint and Auto Body says, drive carefully.
Single-family houses and apartments are the key to passive income, a.k.a. retirement. No one knows this better than America's most successful investor, educator, self-made multimillionaire, and CEO of Lifestyles Unlimited, Del Walmsley. Meet Del's team live in Mountain View, 2 days only at the Hyatt Centric Mountain View, Saturday and Sunday, October 21st and 22nd. To attend, register now at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. That's GiveMeTotalFreedom.com. Limited seating, unlimited potential. Register today at GiveMeTotalFreedom.com.
KCAA.
Beautiful inside and out. And I'm giving you Dr. Marissa's Beneficial Presence on the Planet Award today. Thank you.
Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic point.
When I go, I'm gone.
Are you lonely?
No.
Nah, I knew that was going to be
But I surround myself with people. I mean, I'm always the one cooking for things. Or I'm always the one that decorates first and come to my house. All the orphans that have no place.
I'm going to have no place to go, so
Okay,
I can
come on over.
And life is so amazing if we can see it.
Jump off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living
With Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pay.
And welcome. You're tuned into Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, CNBC News, and NBC Sports, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Podchaser, Streaker, and more. Why so many places? Because I want to maximize my splatter zone for more hope and happiness. So there's no gossip here, no scandal, no K words, no Kardashian. I mean, I keep that was the old one. No Kanye talk, formerly or now known as not focusing on other people's reality shows. Instead, focusing on your own reality show and how you can be happy 88% of the time. So I have topics and guests. If you missed, I've been promoting The Cove, which is on Hulu right now. If you haven't watched it, need to watch it. The dolphin activist Rick O'Berry actually did a show with me from Taiji, Japan, where he has made a remarkable difference being a beneficial presence on the planet by stopping the dolphin slaughter that happens there. So go to my YouTube channel, my YouTube TV channel, Central, where all 1,036 of my shows are housed. Not that anybody's counting, and I'm so glad that you are here for my Friday special series called Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and
Elon Carter. Good morning.
Good morning. Welcome back to the show. Yes, I figured you were off getting your coffee. How are you?
I'm good. I thought I set my machine, so everything was set up, and I looked back, and the coffee hadn't started, and I had a meltdown. I was like, oh, no, I have to have my coffee. So that's why I was like not.
Yeah,
I attempted to do it early. I got up early. do it, but you know what? I didn't do the button, so I'm a
No
little late.
worries. And I thought you could see this, but it's actually not showing up as purple on the screen. But I wore this just for you.
It
This is
looks
my
blue.
new.
It's pretty, like a
It's
purplish blue. But I'm on my phone
yeah.
today and not the computer.
Oh
So
yeah,
I
that's
can't
why you're.
really see because
Uh,
I'm squinting because I'm not on the computer today, and my son is asleep, and we had an event last night, so he's not getting up to give me his computer.
got it. Got it. No worries. Let's just launch right into breakfast with Dr. Marissa and my co-host, the beautiful one and only. I didn't give you applause yet. Alon Carter.
Thank you.
Okay, she's gone again. There
I
she
spilled
is.
my coffee.
Oh no! I know we haven't cheered yet.
Okay.
Ready to have breakfast?
Yeah,
Oh,
let's-
you spilled it. Oh, never mind. All right. What? Okay,
No,
here we go.
I'm ready.
Clink.
Ready?
1, 2, 3.
Cheers.
Clink. It's time for breakfast. The top of the bun is 8 specific gratitudes. What are 8 things that you are grateful for this morning? Please do put them in the chat. I see eyeballs in the cashew gallery already, and we already got a finger. Not that finger, this finger. Thank you very much. You know that I am live streaming now, not just on my YouTube TV channel, but also LinkedIn and Facebook. So thank you for joining us. All right. I'm hoping to see an appearance from our favorite supporters. I shouldn't say that, but you're all great. But we'll see if Maria and Orville
our
Nation
weekly
show.
Maria
What was that?
and Maria and Orville. They always come. They always tune in.
That's it. So I am grateful for new dresses.
I am grateful for sales because I got 2 new dresses.
We're on that theme. Grateful for escrow closing on a ranch that I am a part owner of. 187-acre ranch. I get to go see it tomorrow. We're celebrating with a potluck. I'm supposed to bring something Chinese.
That my sister friend has a ranch, which means that I get to go with her to visit. That you are owner of a ranch, so we can go together.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. I get to.
Are you gonna get a horse? Are you gonna get a horse?
I am deathly allergic to horses.
Oh, really? You get to have a ranch and no horses?
I know. I'm going to be part of the development of the wellness center. Tai Chi, yoga.
Okay. Yeah. Really cool. That's good too.
Yeah. Yeah. I am grateful. Oh, look. I think they're here. Nope. Different, but definitely welcome still. Oh no. Maria's here. First is John Baptiste from Africana. And so happy he's here. He's part of the group that is also highlighted in my past interviews with Frederick, who got his arms chopped off in the Rwandan genocide. And he is part of that group rehabilitating other people who have lost appendages to that genocide. So welcome to Jean Baptiste. TS is here from Georgia. Oh, Atlanta. This is my girlfriend Tracy, who just spent a little time here at my Harmony House of Healing. Remember I told you I had a friend that was staying? Yeah, so she's tuning in. This is her first time. And I met Tracy because her uncle, bless him and rest in peace, he's on the other side, Harry. And I was here and accidentally met Tracy, his niece, and then have become wonderful friends with her. And she's just beautiful inside and out. And I got to actually be in the room my first time when the machines were shut down. And it was such a beautiful experience in that knowing that life is eternal. You know, Harry's not gone. He's just in a different form. And it was really, truly a remarkable experience. And getting to be there supporting Tracy was just wonderful. So welcome to you. She's grateful for being married 28 years on Monday. That's fantastic. Yeah, we got to.
Yeah.
That was for your husband. And she has two beautiful daughters as well. And last but not least, guess who came
She
to the
here.
studio?
Good
It
morning.
is
Sent me a sun.
Maria.
Maria sent me a sunflower. I think I might have expressed to you that sunflowers are a symbol for me. I don't know. Maybe I didn't, but
Yes,
it
you
is.
did. Yes, you
It's
did.
a mess.
Yeah,
Thank you,
that's
Maria. Good morning.
good morning.
I, I,
We're going to
I,
get.
Go ahead. I'm going to say one more grateful. I'm
Oh,
grateful
yeah.
for our supporters. I'm grateful for the supporters that come that are loyal and tune in to see what we're talking about on Friday because you never know
You
where we're
just
going to go.
never know. So that's the top of the bun. We're going to go to the bottom of the bun now because Alon likes it on the bottom. Just kidding.
Oh, yes, I do. I'm lazy. No, just
I should know better. I said it to
when I was
Frank
younger, I
yesterday.
liked the top. And when I was younger, I liked the top, but now I'm like lazy. I want to put it at the bottom.
Sorry, Tracy. I
You know
forgot to
that.
tell you. Fridays we get a little dicey. So, because
Well,
we're
she knows
ramping into the weekend.
if she gives me an opening, she knows I'm going to go run with it because it's
My fault.
funny.
My fault. All right. And now we're going to go to the bottom of the bun. The bottom of the bun is, what do we like about ourselves? What do we appreciate about ourselves? Because I believe my BS, my belief system, is the hallmark of good mental health is self-care, self-love, self-approval, and oftentimes people don't like themselves, and that's why they pick on other people, or they're walking around with antenna looking for people to like them. Literally these days, how many likes do I have, which is ridiculous. So I want you to exercise your muscle. What do you like about yourself? And that way, when you go to bed tonight, you're not thinking about all who done who wrong, or what I didn't get done, or what I don't like, or does my butt look big, all that bull shiitake that keeps us from a good night's sleep. So, Alon, what do you like about yourself?
I like that I like me. I do because I don't need self approval. Like I'm at the age where I'm very comfortable in my skin and who I am and as a woman. And I just really, I was out last night. And I had this conversation with someone. I was like, I just really don't care. My Trace goes, my mom has no filter. I said, because I have no problems telling you how I feel. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. That's just where I am. So I like me, that I like who I've become. It took me a long time to get here. So everything you're saying is 1,000% true. I was like that when I was younger, but now I like that I'm so comfortable in who I am, and I don't care who doesn't like it. And I'm always going to be respectful and nice until I'm not nice, but you have to push me there.
And this is one of the tenets, or what I put in the promo yesterday, about speaking our mind, speaking our heart. And it wasn't always that way for Alon. It wasn't always that way for me either, even though we look like natural, no filters. We actually had a time where, we were muzzled maybe by our gender, because women
Yeah.
usually are, be seen and
We,
not
we had
heard in the old
we
days.
had to work on ourselves. I don't want to cut you off. I want to tell you this real quick. When I was
Yeah.
out, people asking me with Trace, because of course I was in the club. It was so funny because one of the young kids said to me, "Oh, you're the mom in the club." I was like, "Quiet." No, I was like, "Yeah, I am. I don't care, right? I manage him." Anyway, one of the guys kept saying, "I look familiar," and then he goes, "I know you from back in the day. Used to model this and this." And he said to Trace, now I tell Trace this all the time. He goes, "Yeah, you kind of disappeared." I was like, "Yeah, I got married and moved to England." And then he says, "I remember you. I tried to book you for stuff your mom wouldn't do what certain people did." And that was the biggest compliment for me because I was happy that someone recognized that. It's just
Absolutely.
basically saying the women that are working, that were in my era, you see them now. But he's just literally said that. And I told Trace that. And he goes, "Oh, mom, you just don't know it's different." I said, "It's not different. That's why I'm always warning you. I'm warning you because I was smart enough to know what was acceptable, even though I would muzzle and not say nothing." And he made that comment. He goes, "It was perceived like you were stuck up." I said, "No, I was really shy. I actually was very shy, believe it or not. But I still knew what was acceptable, and I wouldn't do some of the things that I thought that was a really good compliment coming from a man who was in the business, that she just wouldn't do certain things. Go to your next one. I'm sorry, I
Yeah,
took up
that's
so much here.
okay. No, I think it's important to talk about is that just because other people are doing it, or just because it's the thing to do, doesn't mean that you should do it. I think that's totally appropriate, especially
But
now.
the real thing in Hollywood, if you want to work as a woman, and you're seeing it now, and we'll talk about that when we finish our bottom of the bun, because it's a real thing in Hollywood, and we have no subject today, but it is a real
Well,
thing.
we always
And
have a subject. We
right,
talk about whatever we're tempted to talk about.
right, and now
Yeah.
that my
So
son is 19, he's experiencing it. So that's why I'm having this conversation, because now, even though technically he's very young, he's of age, and that's acceptable age for people,
yeah,
even
and
younger.
and
It,
and let's give him a little
go.
plug because he's the reason actually that I know and have Alon as my co-host. I met him, wow, it's almost a year and a half now ago on the red
Yeah.
carpet at a fundraiser. I was recognized myself, and this is also I love that I, and part of my appreciation, I am positive, I am enthusiastic, I am balancing out the bad news with good news, and I'm really really appreciative that that is what I'm known for, and that's how I ended up interviewing Trace. He is an amazing artist. He's not just a musician, he writes his own music, so he's a writer. He also is extremely polite. I'm so very 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 appreciative of how he was raised by his mom, because you can tell just by the way he talks and the way he relates to you. And I want to plug him because he is an up and coming artist. He's already been at the Troubadour. He's already done gigs. He's been on the big jumbotron in New York City. And that goes credit to his mom as well, who is open to the opportunities, but has a filter for things that are appropriate and inappropriate. So that's my appreciation of you this morning, Alon. And I'm a proud a bonus auntie in his life, and he's definitely someone to keep your eye on. So I think I had him on Tuesday Talent, which is a series that I do now where I interview up and coming. I know Maria enjoys those particular ones. I find the cutest guys and have them on the show.
You have a radar for cute guys. I thought I
I
had a
do.
radar. You're
Now I
faster.
definitely.
Like
So
you're like,
let's finish
yeah.
off breakfast. Let's finish off breakfast.
Okay.
One last thing that you appreciate about yourself.
I'm appreciative that I'm curious. I'm curious and inquisitive, and that's why that's how I met you, because I was curious about who you were, because of the way you were dressed, and it was just your energy, and it was a ton of people at that event when I met you, right? And I just went over and started talking to you, and because I'm not shy anymore, because before I would have never said anything, 20 years ago, I was like, well, who are you? Well, I like your hair, and that's how we became friends, and now we have a good relationship. That the energy, it's like we've always known each other, even though it's short. We just seem like we've known each other for a long time. That's
Absolutely.
my last one.
And Alon, I'm going to ask you to
that.
It is, and that is breakfast with Dr. Marissa and
Elon Carter. Good morning.
And your sound is glitching just a bit on my end. If you can move up, move up towards the mic, and also people can see your beautiful face because you're a little further than me, and I like to have.
Is that better?
That is much better. Let's see. Maria says,
okay,
I like that, although I have the girls, my breasts. I don't and won't use them to help my show grow. I'd rather have them see me, is what I'm thinking. Yeah. So, okay, I better button up my top button.
You better show them, because this is Hollywood. Everybody buys them. And so if you have them, show them.
Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to say that. All right, and with that, we're going to finish off breakfast. Thanks for joining us. I promise you that if you do this for the next 28 days, 8 specific things you're grateful for in the morning, 8 specific things that you like about yourself at night, you will definitely wrap your day in the most positive way with the gratitude sandwich. Thanks for playing. All right, and we got another finger on that exercise. Not that finger, but this finger. Thank you for continuing to support us with comments and reactions. All right. So, what do you want? What are you tempted to talk about, Alan?
Well, I was going to talk about Halloween stuff, but I was going to actually talk. I think we should talk about, and we delved into this a little bit, but because my son is experiencing it now, I mean, I hate to say it, but it really is predators in Hollywood and things you do to get jobs, and it's still going on. And I know we've had the Harvey Weinstein thing happening, the Me Too movement, which has brought it to surface, but it still is not prevalent enough to know, for people to see that it's just happening. And more has to happen because he's gotten a, they've really come after him. And I think because maybe he pissed somebody off, but everybody's doing it, right? So he was targeted. And I'm not
For
taking
what?
up for him.
What
I'm
did
saying
what
that
happened?
the Harvey Weinstein thing about going after young people for jobs and being proposition, and it's so prevalent, it's still happening constantly, or just insinuating things for people to get work. And
That happened to
my
Trace?
son's at the age. Well, it's just, people keep putting him in situations and making innuendos, and I'm always warning him, and he's like, "Mom, you don't know." So when that guy brought that up last night, I just said, "Oh my God, it was perfect. I don't even know this man, right?" Because I'm always telling him, "Do you not think that in my prime, I wasn't experiencing any of that? Some very powerful
Mm.
people have put me in those, it basically said to me, good luck in your career, because I wouldn't go on their private jet. First of all, I'm not getting anyone's private jet. I don't know what you're going to do to me up in there. I'm not going out of town with you. You're not guaranteed you're giving me a job." I think that's probably what some of the Harvey Weinstein backlash was. A lot of the women that did do that are angry because he didn't always give them the job. But the thing is, you knew when you get in those positions what was happening. So even with the boys, the young men get it just as bad as the women. People don't realize that. The men really have to navigate through it. And it's still happening. I could see the setup. I could see the grooming.
Well,
So,
that makes me mad that there's innuendos now for Trace. I'm getting protective auntie here. So are you
well, they
saying
don't,
that there are older men and women asking him to,
well, they don't
be in
say
situation?
anything. They're not saying anything, but they'll be like, "Oh, well, they'll dangle stuff in his face. Oh, this is opportunities here." And I say to him, "Yeah, that opportunity, they'll give you the opportunity. They have the power. Be careful. Make sure you don't get yourself in certain positions. When the room fills, the temperature starts to rise, leave. You don't even want to see things. You don't want to have to experience things." One of the things I talked about on my Playboy special, and my mother never heard it until that special came out, that one of the things they kept saying, I wouldn't cooperate. I wouldn't go out with certain people at the mansion. They bring more people over to me. I'd say hi. But when I was testing for my shoot, the photographer tried to rape me. That's my dog, sorry. The photographer tried to rape me. And I never talked about it until the special. And I don't know what triggered it, because I think I just buried it deep in my head and I forgot about it. But the people that run the organization, it probably, if they watched it, probably said, "Oh, now it makes sense why she was so like withdrawn from all of that." And I had a different situation. I had my father to back me. I had my own career before I even did it. So I just was like, I don't have to tolerate it. But some people don't have. I think they prey on the people that don't have positions to, um, that are not desperate. Now, if I want to be with you, and you happen to be in that position, yeah, that's fine. I don't really care. I'm going to do what I want to do. I just don't like when people seek people out. I don't know why I even brought that up, but I'm just seeing that I have to be very cautious around people. I'm right there. So one of the kids last night, they go, "Well, you're his mom." I go, "Clearly we look alike." But it just didn't dawn on me. And they were teasing me for being the mom in the club. You know, when you have like your mom or your auntie in the club, right? They were laughing. I was like, I don't care, you young people. I'm here in the
Yeah,
club.
I know.
Actually,
I got a little insulted in the airport. I met a young couple, and then they said, Auntie Marissa. And I'm like, you're not that much younger than me.
oh my God.
Like,
For your
you
man,
think I'm,
I'm like, hey, ma'am. Like, oh, okay. Oh,
yeah,
whatever. It's a fine line because they're being respectful because they know you're older than them. So do you back,
exactly. I had to get over
laugh,
myself.
or do you say, hey, I'm insulted? And I don't say anything because they're trying. It's better than them not calling me the proper name, right?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. And I know Tracy is in the chat room. I don't know if you've ever been formally introduced to Alon, just so that you uh, know what it's called, Tempting Conversations, because her dad is Otis Williams, the founder of the Temptations. And that's why when she said I had my father to protect me, that's why, just in case you didn't know. And I also wanted to say that it is I had Ola Ray on as a guest on my show. I interviewed her some years back, and for the first time, she admitted on the show that for the first time in her interviews, said that she had uh, thoughts of suicide, and that she was contemplating suicide. And I said, why? You're the dancer, most recognized dancer in the number one music video in the world, Thriller. And she had a career, she was a singer, dancer, all of that. Dance partner, the most recognized, your one of your favorites, Michael Jackson. And I was like, how could you want to give all that up? And she said, you had no idea, Dr. Marissa, the number of men who, and still, she wouldn't name the name, that are still producers, still directors, who are still holding that as the casting couch. If you want to work for me, if you want your name in lights, you're going to have to sleep with me, or do favors that I ask you to do. And I was just horrified that that is still the case. Even with all of the stopgaps, even with all of the punishments with rightful, the Harvey Weinstein's, and even with that in the light, it's still like that, and that's horrifying to me.
Well, it for so long, and they figure, well, I can keep getting away with it because I haven't been caught. He just was a bad one, but he did nothing no different than anybody else does. I just said that the ones they come down on are the ones that they want to get rid of. See, he's probably got too demanding or something. He pissed someone off because they go after the ones, they talk about Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby was at the Playboy Mansion giving people pills and the girls. That's what was going on. He was friends with Hugh Hefner. There's a whole bunch of producers and people that were like Bill Cosby up there. And so he was one of the very ones, but they sought him out. I have my own reasons why I think they sought him out. And look, under no circumstances do I think that's acceptable, because I know girls, I know one particular girl that he was involved with when I was younger, beautiful girl. She had a sister and he was doing all sorts of things. And I already, like, it was, the rumors were like, that's who he was. So for the women to sit there and say they didn't know that about Bill Cosby is absolutely ridiculous, because I've just been in situations and I saw him, and I saw it for myself. He wasn't trying to hide it. So now there's one woman that's now suing him after all this stuff is happening from 1972, and I'm like, seriously, like, you had plenty of time to go after him. Now you want money? Like, you just want money to bury yourself. I don't mean to be mean. I'm just, it's those kind of people. I met Mike Tyson when I was younger. Now he's a totally different person now because they say he's very spiritual, but I remember meeting him through friends, having breakfast. I was so appalled at breakfast, and I know he's a different person now, that I left and I said, he got accused of the rape. I said, any girl that accuses him of rape is basically an opportunist, because I had breakfast with him with a group of people. And just that day alone, I was so like, oh my God, because he was so crass and so abrupt. And he was so, this is what I want. This is what I'm going to do. So any girl that sit there and go, I didn't know, is bullcrap. You don't go to his room at 10 o'clock at night. He did not, he wasn't even cool about it, right? So, you know, it's kind of a catch-22. I think some of these women, just like with entertainers, singers, growing up with my dad, these women get mad because these singers, I'm not going to say just the actors, these singers get these groupies, they sleep with them, and then the women are mad because they kick them out of the room. You can't spend the night. You got to go. I got something to do. And then they come back and they come after them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it happens times, but what I'm saying is, like, now it's still going on. But I think because it's a newer generation, and the newer generation think they're slicker. Well, it's the same bull crap. It's been going on for the longest. You know, and I think the men get it really bad because there's a lot more people in power that prefer young guys, and they just have to be careful. And I saw modeling that certain models wanted certain campaigns. In order to get those campaigns, you know, it was very prevalent, especially in that industry. To get those campaigns, you had to do certain things. And if you're okay with doing it, that's fine. But a lot of people come back and cry later like they didn't know better. You know better. I knew better.
Yeah.
No one's gonna forcefully do anything unless you allow it. That's what I want to say. You kind of know. It's whether you take it. Now, if you don't get what you want out of it, is when you see people become aggressively going. Yeah.
Right.
Hold on. You talking. I gotta get my dog.
You got it. Okay. If you've just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in the studio, it's Friday's Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and Alon Carter, and she is talking about Hollywood and the double-edged sword of what, you know, the unfortunate circumstance of the casting couch seems to still be here, but there is the responsibility side. And this is, take my advice, I'm not using it, Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on NBC News Radio, KCAA, AM 1050, FM 106.5, streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, and more. And all of these shows you can get access to on a free subscribe on my YouTube channel, where there's also a red carpet playlist that I have to thank Trace again for getting me a backstage interview with the Temptations. You can access all of those, as well as my interviews with Halle Berry, John Travolta, Quincy Jones, and more, if you just go there and free subscribe. And we're so glad you're here. This is a very special series, always sort of ramping us up into the fun of the weekend. My wonderful co-host, it's Tempting Conversations with Dr. Marissa and
Alon Carter. I'm going to add something.
Yeah,
you know, I was gonna say now, you know, looking in retrospect, this is terrible. I'm gonna say it. Don't put it out there. Being the age I am now, I've hooked up with some losers, right? Some of those people that did the casting couch were nice looking people. If I knew I was going to get the job, I probably wouldn't look now and go, I should have taken one for the team, because I did it for free anyhow. I did it with some losers. I got nothing out of it but a heartache and another ache. So I probably should have done something. I would have had a job and a check.
Now you know why it's called Tempting Conversations.
Yeah, some of the girls I think were a little bit smarter than me. They were more savvy. I was like, oh, my morals and my values. And then I'd like look up with somebody that wasn't even worth the time of day. That's why I got this.
So I'm going to put this moose on the table, which is my Canadian version of Elephant in the Room. Now, yes, Alon is a playmate, Playboy bunny. Did the Hugh Hefner? I didn't say did Hugh Hefner, but I mean did Hugh Hefner's playmate?
God.
I wanted that out too. and the Playboy Mansion and the parties and all that. So I have had discussions with the younger generation that has said, as a full-on feminist, that I can dress whatever way I want, as provocatively as I want, and that whole expression of "you were asking for it" is wrong, and it doesn't apply because I don't need to dress so that you're not tempted by me. Now, I've heard actual talk like this, very extreme feminist, young, of the, it doesn't matter what I do, you can't do what you think you have the entitlement to do, which is different than what we were just talking about, which is my BS, my belief system is, if you go to someone's room at 10 at night who is obviously hinting at, one, they're into you, two, that they could make your career, go smoother or get you apart, and you go, then you don't have a leg to stand on because you knowingly walked into that situation. But I have to tell you, Alon, I agree with you. I 100%. There are women out there who say, no, under any circumstances, if I go there, I still should not be subjected to forceful that. Okay. So how do we get these things to mesh? The other side of it, as well as, you are a playmate and you posed, right, to appeal to men's desiring of your body, which is beautiful, and looks and all of that. And then how can you turn around and say you shouldn't do that? Now, that's a big moose, but I think it's really important for women to, you know, to talk about this. Go ahead.
Well, I do dress sexier. I do have these conversations, even when I was younger and modeling. And when I first started modeling, because I was more curvy, even though I was really skinny, I was like like the stick. But even before butt jobs came out, I had a bubble butt and had boobs. Right? I bought those, but I still had a bubble butt. So I would do like a lot of lingerie, swimsuit. I did Nordstrom's. I did a lot of catalog, but I still would always they would always put me in the category of the more sexier clothes, the form fitting stuff, because I was more curvy and not stick figure. Had the boobs and the butt. And I ended up doing Playboy because my mother was a Playboy bunny. I was reluctant because of my modeling career, and back then it wasn't okay. So yes, I agree with women who say, "Oh, well, you put yourself in that situation." I personally have a different perspective of it. I don't think that gives anyone the okay. I think women should be able to dress the way they want. I don't think that gives a man to uh, 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 a green light. Even like with my husband, he'll say stuff. Like he'll see a girl with a top hanging out. Like he likes me to dress sexy. He wants me to look like the playboy playmate that he married. But a lot of men, when they marry women, they don't want you to wear the makeup and the hair and the glamour. And I've had friends who are models who are just like, "Oh, you still are very glamorous." Well, my husband likes me to look very glamorous and sexy and playboy. And sometimes I'm like, that's a little bit too young for me to dress like that still. Like I have to tone it down now. He wants me to still look like the bombshell stuff, right? And I think that's perfectly fine. I think a woman should dress the what makes her feel comfortable. I don't think we should have to take away, and I don't think any other woman should judge. I've had women judge me because of the way I look. Just like an athlete, a basketball player is 6'7", he's able to play basketball because God gave him that height. God gave me the blessing of having the body and to look a certain way, to present myself that way. Even though people may not see that as a talent, that is my blessing that I got, that I want to put it out there. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm giving you a green light to do whatever you want to my body unless I say it's okay, right? If I say it's okay, it's okay. I think the younger generation dresses way more provocative than when I was coming up. But because I thought we were dressed really sexy but classy, like the Hervé Leger dresses, like that's conservative, and they were super sexy, right? I just gave three dresses away this weekend that I had that were Hervé Leger dresses, to my friend's daughter. Saying that, the people that are young now are different about sex too. You know, you have the pansexual and the trisexual, and then this. I don't care if you keep up with the LGBT stuff, right? You people will come out as, even you have entertainers coming out saying I will, whatever I'm attracted to is what I'm going to do. So who am I to judge you if you want to try everything? I don't also have become more open as I've gotten older, that it may not be my sexual preference, but if someone feels like they want to try everything to see what they like, then more, hey, kudos to you. Just don't cross the line. You know, you might come at somebody and say, hey, would you be interested? That's fine, but don't cross the line and try to put someone in a position that you have to force them to do it. Now, I don't agree, because I have been in these situations with very, very powerful executives. I told you, I met Trump at a fashion show, and he wanted all the girls to come in, the models to come meet him. And he asked me to come to his table. So it just goes on with powerful people like that. You know, and you can't say that you're so naive that you don't know. You, as a woman, we use our sexuality to attract men, period, right? We do. And for you to sit there and play stupid like you didn't know why that man wanted you because of your sexuality, the way you dress, that's the fine line. We do use it to get what we want. When you have that beauty and you have that sexuality, that's why you see older men or men that are not as attractive but very successful with young beautiful women, because we can use that to attract what we want, to get what we want. Women who can't use that have a problem with that. I understand that, right? But it's just like someone who has the blessing of being an athlete, who has the talent. That's the blessing that, like, you people don't like the K's, right? But they're beautiful girls. I don't care what you say, they are pretty girls. Whether they bought it or not, they can get what they want. And they have used it, and it's made their careers, and it's became made them successful. So I'm just saying that I don't judge people based on that, whatever it took for you to get there. When women sit there and say, oh, he did this and that to me. No, you use that to get him. Just like when a man sits there and says, oh, she's a slut, or she's a whore, or she's this. When they use those names, I'm like, no, that's the same girl that you were attracted to. That girl's with her boobs out, with the G-string on at the strip club, with the makeup and the hair. Now that you've married that person, a lot of men are like this. Now you want her to take it down. But when you met her, that's what attracted you to her, right? So they're attracted to that. They get you, and then when you become theirs, they don't want other men to look at you like that. You know, it's like the women that have to cover up. I'm not judging anyone's religion as far as being Muslim, but you know, in the 1960s, Muslim women didn't have to cover up. You know, men are afraid of, because of their religion, they're afraid of their sexual desires. So they enforce what they want on women. So back to men enforcing. So yes, I think young women, feminists, should be able to express themselves. I don't think anyone should cross those boundaries. But also too, you know, I've talked to young people, and even with us dating, there's some sexual things that you may do with your partner. In my old-fashioned ways, that's something you do as you're in that relationship, and you can graduate and experiment. There's things on the menu that my young lash girl said to me from the first date, and I just was appalled. I go, how can that possibly be on the menu? I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, I totally don't want to be like dating out there because it's acceptable. So, you know, once again, it's a fine line.
Yeah, and that is, it's more complicated, as with most things. It's not a black and white thing. There's a lot of gray area, and there's a lot of both sides have to take some responsibility. But it does sound like, as much as we want to say we are not, let's not, you know, let's not view women as objects. Let's not view women the you know, down to the base denominator of TNA, right? Will we ever get past that? I don't think so, because that is a fundamental attraction factor when it comes to men. Most men, not all men, who are, I guess, heterosexual. Is that the term we use now? If you're attracted to the opposite sex, that
and
is
that are
something you're looking for. You are looking for the TNA. You, or if that's what you're into, that, so to say that everybody's, the solution is to cover up, or the solution is to not dress sexy, or the solution is to all that is bad, is not a solution. The whole desire conversation, I'm tempted to talk about desire, and pleasure. I think that there's something wrong with us if we see that all as sin. To have pleasure, to feel good. I'm a big, cheerleader for, does it feel good? Not in that selfish, I'm going to do something bad to you and it's a violation, not that kind of pleasure. The other day I said, you know what? I think I'm into spiritual hedonism. That I want to bring back the word hedonism. It's not a bad thing to feel good.
Go to Jamaica. You could go to hedonism. My mom and her friends go. The Snoop sisters go to hedonism. They do.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay. I am if you've just tuned in and you're wondering what's going on in studio, we are talking about a very touchy topic and a tempting conversation about the realities of attraction, desire, the Harvey Weinstein Me Too movement, and that there will always be that temptation to go to that common denominator and maybe get to the place where we are, putting ourselves in situations that we shouldn't as women, and to be cognizant of that. And at the same time, it's not okay. There's no green light for the guy to do whatever they want. And I forgot what I was going to say. But this is Take My Advice, I'm Not Using It. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, FM 106.5, and streaming everywhere. And thank you for the Cashew Gallery for your comments. I think you're all listening along. I think Maria said when she was talking about her the tea. Said, yes, not to put them in front and with the laughs.
And jump down and yes. I used to do that, and I hated myself.
Absolutely.
When I was a little girl, the Temptations used to be on the Dinah Shore show all the time, and I used to always go there with them. And you know who they always had on the show is Chara. Remember? And she used to go cha 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 cha. So she was doing that in the 70s when I was a little kid. I remember Chara would go cha cha cha, and she would bounce them. So, this has been going on. Look at Marilyn Monroe. We idolize her, and she's very open about who she was and what she did and whatever. Like, we act like this is a new thing.
Yeah, it's not. It's definitely not. And we need to be able to talk about it in a respectful and safe way. But absolutely, and you know what? Honestly, I'm glad we're talking about it, because it is one of those conversations that we're tempted to talk about, but not a lot of people will actually openly talk about it because they're afraid of what other people are going to say, or we don't have the answers. We never have the answers because it's all subjective. But at the same time, I think if think about before the Me Too movement. So before people had the courage to come forth and say what they needed to say and pinpoint people, that needed to happen, but it took such a long time. Can you imagine if we actually had this particular conversation, 20 years ago, openly? Then it would have definitely opened the door for more women to have the courage to say, that's not okay. Do you know what I mean? Like,
well, I don't think people realize what was really going on until the Harvey Weinstein thing came out, because he had such powerful actresses. He had such powerful people behind him. When you had someone who was up and coming, and you had someone who was getting involved with like a Bill Cosby and some of these other ones are like, oh, well, you're just bitter and angry, right? They just brushed it off. It really does happen. And that's why I say I'm not making excuses, but I'm just saying being in the room with people like that, and I have seen people in the room like that. I've been like, oh wow, it's so obvious who they are. So when you sit there and you get in these positions and you go, oh, I didn't know better, and I'm not justifying the Bill Cosby. I'm saying I remember being a young person and coming home and saying to my father, who knows him, wow, he's really a trip, right? He's kind of aggressive because he was now. Then they had to show the Bill Cosby show, and he was like the all American dad, and I was like, oh, that's not what I saw, but when you
Yeah.
sit these women sit there and go, oh, this happened to me. I'm like, okay, you know what? You gotta put the moose on the table. What really happened? Because you thought you were gonna get that part. And so you did that until the Harvey Weinstein came out, who's on that level of what Bill Cosby was. Then you had these credible actresses saying, hey, this happened to me, that happened to me. And I believe them because they were credible actresses. I do think he took advantage, in my opinion. Now, I don't know him, but because these actresses are so credible, they were already established. So they had no reason to make it up. And I think that's why they came down on him and believed him. And finally, but saying that, I think it happens still. And I think because of those situations, it's still, I don't think enough people have been like, okay, you know what, you got to stop this.
Yeah,
Just,
absolutely. I want to go
and
to.
I'm not saying, I'm gonna say I'm not saying you don't flirt with someone you're attracted to. I don't. Yes, try it if you date someone. Just don't cross the line, and that
Yes.
should be. People should know that it's not acceptable to cross the line. If you want to go out with that actress and go, hey, would you like to have a drink or a date? Yeah, go ahead, but don't cross the line.
Yeah, absolutely. And my final word as we come up against the end of the hour, as usual, we're, going to get out of time before we finish talking about this. I'm sure we'll continue next week. But I wanted to go to the Cashew Gallery. Tracy's two teenage girls, very much always wearing Lulu skirts, shorts, and
Yeah.
always saying it's the guy's problem. They can and will wear what they want. Honey, I get that. My daughters are the same way. My younger daughter, in
Yeah.
particular, short skirts. And then Maria said, I want to be and feel sexy, but I don't want to attract certain type of people, so I can avoid or try to avoid situations like Alana had to deal with. And that was a rape from
But
a
see, I have no
photographer when she
filter.
was a
I'll
model.
pass.
So, but I'm
I
glad.
will
I'm
tell you
really
about
glad
yourself.
we're talking about this because Tracy, I want to go to you and about your daughters. So it's a balance. I say this all the time. It's a balance. So
Yeah.
yes, you can wear whatever you want and say f you. I don't care if you are attracted to what I'm showing you. You still don't have a right to come on to me and say the things that you're saying. Yes, and there has to be a responsibility on one side, the other side that says, I don't want to bring out the worst in them, right? If you don't want to
Well,
bring out the worst in them, then do, and or show it and flaunt it. And then when the reaction happens, thank you for the what I think you mean as a compliment, but the impact is no, I don't do that. I'm not even suggesting that. And please don't make that comment. It's kind of that balance. We have to come to the middle here. If we don't, then we're going to have miscommunications and conflict all along this area. Go ahead, Alan. That was my final word.
well, I was going to say to Tracy, I can agree because I have a 15-year-old daughter and she's way more curvy than I was at 15. I was like a stick figure. And she's got a beautiful body and she had some shorts on as she was going to the mall. And the little girls are wearing shorts with your butt out now, right? And I was like, oh, no, no, no. You take those shorts off. And her brother even said, no, no, no. And the thing is, for someone that age, they don't understand yet. When you have a teenage child, which is a whole nother conversation we can have, they don't get it yet because they haven't gotten to that. That's how the girls dress, the young girls with the stomach out and the buns showing. I have to tell her and start having this conversation. Listen, there are going to be men that are my age desiring you, even though that's wrong. It's big, sick-minded. They look at you and they desire you, and I have to let you know that you have to be really careful. I can't let you go to the mall like that. If I'm with you and you have shorts on, that's different. But when you have young girls, that's a whole nother conversation that they don't even know because they don't have the experience yet. So they don't understand that people look at them and not in a good way.
Yes, absolutely. And Tracy clarified it's not the young guys their age, it's the old creepy guys. And
Right.
so that is
Right.
exactly, I would say you cannot have your cake and eat it too, right? You want the attraction, you want people to, whistle, you want people, but then you can't turn around and say, don't do that. So that is my second final word. But anyways, we are up at the end. Thank you so much for tuning in today to take my advice. I'm not using a gift balance with Dr. Marissa. We have 30 seconds. I promised the Asian Oprah giveaway today would be a pass to the Newport Beach Film Festival. I have to make good on that. Go to drmarissa.life and put in Newport Beach Film Festival. You'll get amazing tickets. I'll be there on the red carpet to greet you. But thanks for tuning in. Alon, it's all about balance. Peace in, peace out. World peace through inner peace. Now go and have the best weekend ever.
KCAA Loma Linda.